Alright, so my Alien Earth episodes 1 and 2 review did pretty good on the channel, and it's a show I want to talk about, so yes, that's right, we're doing a review series. Now we got episode 3 of Alien Earth releasing 2 days ago now. By the time I'm putting it out, I'm filming this really late on Wednesday night, because after work I went up to the mall with my family, and my brother had baseball practice, so I just kind of sat in the car. I brought my computer, and I watched episode 3 on my computer there, so I just got home about an hour ago, and now I'm filming my review, and I gotta be at work in like 6 hours, so yeah, I'm filming my review at midnight, and I'm putting it out tomorrow, technically today, now that you're watching it. Alien Earth episodes 1 and 2, if you haven't seen my review, go check out my review of those 2 episodes. It's important to know what I thought, because I'm not really going to rehash that much. But if you don't want to, I guess I'll just say my quick little recap. I thought the first episode was mid. I thought there was a really bad decision with the fact that it's kids fighting aliens in adult bodies. It's stupid. It's still stupid in this episode. But episode 2 did kind of win me back in the back half with some alien action that I thought was really compelling. Before I dive into my thoughts on episode 3, if you have seen it, what are your opinions on it? And if you haven't seen it, are you excited for episode 3, or did the first 2 episodes not do anything to win you over? Or if you haven't seen any of the show, what are your expectations for the show? And while you're down there, it would do me a solid and subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the bell so you never miss another video. With that said, Alien Earth episode 3 completely won me over. I left episode 2 like, I really want to see what happens next, but I'll go in cautious. I'll go in thinking to myself, okay, I'm excited, but I could be let down. Because I was kind of let down by those first 2 episodes. I left them like, yeah, it was good. But then I was thinking, I don't know, they could easily mess it up. Episode 3 completely won me over. I'm completely won over. Now, obviously, there are spoilers here. If you haven't seen the episode, click off. Starting spoilers now. This isn't really going to be like a recap. It's just going to be more of a discussion. But the episode begins with the events of the last episode where the Xenomorph knocks Joe down into the bottom of the cave, and his sister goes off to rescue him. He did eventually learn that she is his sister, but in an adult body. Goes by Wendy now. So she goes off. She goes to fight the Xenomorph. And I was a little bit disappointed by the way this episode opened up, if I'm being honest. It started off like, okay, yeah, we're getting some cool Xenomorph action. Xenomorph is going after you. And then the door closes. Like, they're attacked. They find out that it has acid for blood. But they get him into a corridor, they lock him up, the Xenomorph, but the Xenomorph grabs Wendy, drags her in, and I was thinking, this is going to be awesome. This is going to be some awesome hand-to-hand combat. Woman with Xenomorph. And you know what? We get to watch Joe stand there at the door. Wendy? Wendy, are you okay? I'm trying to get the door open. While we hear... Stop. Could have been awesome to see that show. And I will say, a lot of people are complaining that the show is doing a lot to not show us the action. Like, in episode 2, there's a sequence where you're following Morrow as he's just sitting there, and in the background you see all this blood come up. And I still think it's gory. I still thought the sequence was awesome. But there is quite a bit that, like, it's just shying away from showing us the action. And I feel like this sequence was a big part in that. I was very disappointed that we didn't get to see that fight scene. So the episode started off like, I don't know where we're going. Fortunately, that next scene was awesome. One of the big positives I had from the first 2 episodes is that these cast members feel like they are kids in grown-up bodies. And as much as I was kind of off-put by that plot line, I think the performances are pretty good. And this is where we get the chemistry between, I know I'm going to butcher this name, Adarsh Gurav. He plays Slightly in the show. And I'm pretty sure it's Jonathan Ajayi that plays Smee. I'm pretty sure that that's the other guy. Anyways, Slightly and Smee, their 2 relationship I thought is great. Definitely feels like kids' relationships. There's a certain sequence where they're like, bro, we just saw this alien eyeball come out of a cat. Bro, that's awesome. I wish I could have seen that. but bro, we saw a xenomorph. We saw a big alien. Bro, that's awesome. I wish I could have seen that. And they feel like kids, which is something that I did like, and I did like their chemistry. But more importantly, the scene that follows is Morrow, who I have been very invested in from those first 2 episodes. He is the cyborg from Weyland-Yutani. He was up in space. He was capturing the xenomorphs. And it's him who comes into the room, figures out their children. And again, I'm really invested in this character. I want to see where this goes. I want to see where the plot line with these 2 kids and him goes. And it comes to the point to where he threatens the kids because he finds out there's a secret and puts a little chip in Slightly's side of the neck here, where he eventually, later in the episode, he will connect with them and just be able to talk to each other, to be with each other telepathically. And I find that very interesting because, I mean, the character of Morrow is someone I'm finding very interesting earlier on in the show, and his relationship with Slightly. Very excited to see where this goes, and just to introduce kind of the mystery of, he finds out who these are. If you know, he's been in space for 65 years. Because that's what they do, you know. They go up into space, they go into hypersleep to work for this company. And he's been up in space for 65 years. So this is a character who is coming back down to a much different Earth. And I'm really digging what they are doing with his character. Later on in the episode, he calls Weyland-Yutani, figures out it's not his boss, but it's his boss's daughter, who's now the company, again, because he's been up in space for 65 years. And now they are, he is still working for her, and he says that he's going to track down these aliens. He's going to find these aliens because it's his life work. So I think Morrow's character arc is by far my favorite throughout the show so far. But what I also did really like about this episode is that it does start to delve into character arcs of the other Lost Boys. Episode 1 and 2, very much about Wendy. You get a little bit of Slightly in there, but not much. Now we're starting to get character arc with Slightly and his relationship with Morrow, the character arc of Smee, character arc with Curly, as she has a scene where she's standing there talking to Boy Cavalier, who I think is a very interesting character as well, and kind of just playing favorites. As he's playing favorites, he's pulling his own strings. One thing I'm a little bit confused about is that Boy Cavalier is supposed to be like one of the smartest people in the world, and his trillion dollar idea of transferring a human body into an android one. And he decides his first move is to send these $1 trillion basically objects to go fight a xenomorph. Stupid. I don't know what the plan is. I can also see like what they're trying to figure out here is that he's a kid, and they do eventually get all the xenomorph. They get the xenomorph that was I didn't mention this because I'm an idiot, but when Wendy does slice off the xenomorph's head in that fight, she gets injured. So does Joe. So they're both critically injured, and she's dying. Quite obviously because they fought a freaking xenomorph. And, I mean, not that hard to not send your $1 trillion project to go fight the xenomorph. One thing I did find pretty interesting is the fact that they have these aliens, and what I do like about this character is it's proving that he is young. It's now several times on the season that he is the youngest trillionaire ever, and it's pretty obvious to me that as stupid as that one decision is, and as stupid as I still continue to stand by it being, he is a kid, and kids very much get distracted with things and go on to new hobbies. So, I mean, very easy with somebody of his mindset, of his power, to just say, I don't care about them anymore. I only care about this new fancy thing that came into the island. That's something I found interesting that kind of erases what I was thinking, like, this is stupid. Very stupid. Why would someone do this? But I'll have to see where it goes. Boy Cavalier, I'm very interested in. I'll have to see where his plot goes to fully be on board. But like I said, we also have characterization of everybody else. Joe is in critical condition. I'm watching Wednesday season 2. So Wendy and Wednesday, very interlocked in my mind right now. But Wendy is injured. They're fixing her. So, character arcs of other people. Curly has a conversation with Boy Cavalier. Like I said, they're starting to pull strings here. The episode ends with Wendy standing up. She's woken up after getting critically injured. She's been fixed. And she's walking, and it seems that she has this connection to the aliens because Timothy Oliphant's character, Kirsch, is now being the scientist, and him and all these robots are studying these aliens, studying the alien eggs that they have found. They pull a face hugger out from there, give it a little zap zap, and eventually kill the thing, take this little larva thing out. But it seems that Wendy is connected to these aliens somehow. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. We kind of saw that in Alien Resurrection, but that was done in a piss poor way. So maybe it'll be interesting here. But then you get Joe, and they removed one of his lungs. They put it in water. I don't know what's going on with Joe, but they take this little larva thing and they throw it in that tank, and it dives into Joe's lungs. Look, I don't know what they're doing here, but I'll say that it's weird, and I'm curious. Very curious to see what happens next in this show. Trying to think, I don't think I have anything else I need to touch on of this episode. It just progressed the character arcs, started making arcs for other characters that at the beginning of the episode I was like, I don't know. I don't think I like what they're doing here. But the show has won me over. The conversations, the dialogue. It's a much slower episode, but I think that this one was the one that was paced the best. That it didn't feel like I was sitting there for an hour. I quite literally felt like I sat there for half an hour watching the episode because I'm full on invested, and I am very excited to see what they do in episode 4. So let me know, what are your opinions on Alien Earth episode 3? I'm really digging the show so far. Are you? And are you enjoying this review series? And with that said, stay tuned next week for episode 4. And also some other TV reviews. Peacemaker Season 1, Episode 1 comes out today, so that review should be out on Friday. And then Wednesday Season 2 review will be out next week of Part 1, because I just started it yesterday and got 2 episodes in. Thank you guys for clicking on this video, and with that said, subscribe.